You're listening to the Mindful Chapters, a sanctuary for heartfelt stories and gentle growth. If this chapter resonates with you, please like, share, and subscribe to help our mindful community grow. Now let's continue the journey together. The Receiving Mode. How to Attract Everything You Want by Doing Less. By Lila Hart. You are so deeply loved. Now go receive everything that's been waiting for you. Thank you. Crescent Moon. A note before we begin. Take a moment with me, right here before you turn the first page of the introduction. Let your breath settle. Let your mind arrive. Let your heart loosen its grip on whatever it's been holding all day. You don't have to be ready. You don't have to be healed. You don't have to know what you're looking for. Just bring you, exactly as you are. This book isn't going to ask you to work harder, think harder, or become someone else. It isn't here to fix you. It's here to meet you. In the middle of your tiredness, your hope, your longing, your quiet curiosity. If you've been feeling a subtle ache, or noticing that life feels heavier than it should, or sensing that there must be an easier way to live and receive, you're already in the right place. Let this be your soft beginning, a gentle doorway, a small yes to yourself. You don't have to understand the path yet. You only need to take this breath and allow the next few pages to open something inside you that's been waiting for recognition. When you're ready, turn the page. I'll be right there with you. Lila. Introduction. The switch you didn't know you had. The hidden block. Let me tell you about Sarah. She came to one of my workshops 3 years ago, exhausted and confused. She'd been doing everything right for manifesting her dream job. Vision boards, daily affirmations, visualization before bed. She could see herself in that corner office, feel the leather chair, taste the success. And then it happened. The job offer came. Everything she'd asked for. She said no. When she called me crying, she couldn't explain why. I worked so hard for this, Lila. I manifested it. And when it showed up, I just couldn't receive it. I felt like I didn't deserve it. Like they'd made a mistake. This is what I call the receiving block, and it's the most commonplace manifestation breaks down. You can ask for what you want. You can even believe it's possible. But if deep down you don't feel worthy of receiving it, you'll sabotage it every single time. You'll say no to the opportunity. You'll ghost the relationship. You'll unconsciously create chaos right when things are about to work out. Why? Because your internal frequency doesn't match what you're calling in. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Your unworthiness isn't just a mindset issue. It's a frequency you're broadcasting 24/7. And the universe responds to frequency, not just to your desires. What is receiving mode? You've probably heard about the law of attraction. Ask, believe, receive, right? But here's what most teachers skip over. The receiving part isn't passive. It's a state of being. Think about radio frequencies for a moment. Your favorite song is broadcasting right now, all around you. But if your radio is tuned to the wrong station, you won't hear it. The song hasn't disappeared. You're just not tuned in. Receiving mode is like tuning your internal radio to the station where your desires already exist. In energy psychology, we call this vibrational alignment. In neuroscience, it's about shifting your nervous system from survival mode to rest and digest. In quantum physics, it's collapsing the wave of possibility into reality. But let me make it simpler. Receiving mode is the felt sense that you already have what you're asking for. Not as a mental trick. Not as fake it, as a genuine embodied feeling in your bones. When you're in receiving mode, opportunities feel natural, not lucky. You say yes without second-guessing. Good things don't trigger guilt or suspicion. You allow yourself to rest without anxiety. You trust that you're worthy, period. Most people spend their lives in what I call proving mode, where they're constantly trying to earn their worthiness through achievement, productivity, perfection. And from that state, you can manifest all day long, but you can't receive. My story in 3 minutes. I grew up as the eldest daughter in a household where love came with expectations. My dad was an engineer, brilliant, logical, always measuring results. My mom was a yoga teacher, intuitive, flowing, but also deeply performance-oriented in her own way. Between them, I learned one core belief. You have to do something to be worthy of love. So I did everything. Honor roll. Student body president. Full scholarship to college. Dental school. I kept achieving, kept proving, kept running toward the next finish line. And every time I crossed one, the world would applaud. Teachers, parents, friends. We're so proud of you, Lila. But the applause always faded. And I'd need to do it again. By the time I landed that job in New York, I'd been running for 20 years straight. I didn't know how to rest. Rest felt like failure. Doing nothing felt like erasure. Until my body forced me to stop. Burnout. Anxiety attacks. Depression so heavy I couldn't recognize myself. I'd wake up and not remember what joy felt like. My nervous system was so fried that even good news felt threatening. That was my rock bottom. And like most rock bottoms, it was also my breakthrough. When I couldn't work, couldn't achieve, couldn't prove anything to anyone, I discovered something shocking. People still loved me. My parents, my friends, even strangers who barely knew me. They loved me while I was doing absolutely nothing. That's when it hit me. What if I'd been running towards something I already had? I started studying energy psychology, trauma recovery, somatic healing. I learned about the vagus nerve, about vibrational frequency, about why gratitude literally rewires your brain. And slowly, so slowly, I began to practice something revolutionary. I gave myself permission to receive without earning it first. Within 6 months, my life looked completely different. Not because I was working harder, but because I'd stopped hustling for breadcrumbs and started allowing abundance to find me. That's when I created my first course, The Frequency Reset. That's when I launched my podcast. That's when everything I'd been chasing started chasing me back. The quantum jump happened when I stopped trying. How to use this book. This book is short by design. You can read it in one sitting. Maybe with a cup of tea, maybe while curled up on your couch. Or you can take it slow, 1 chapter per day for 10 days. Either way works. What matters is how you read it. This isn't an instruction manual. It's an invitation. Throughout these pages you'll find stories, mine, my students, may be echoes of your own. Science explained simply, I promise. Practices, short, gentle, effective. A journal prompts, optional but powerful. Here's my only rule. Be gentle with yourself. If you read something and think, I should have known this already, or why haven't I been doing this? Pause. That voice is the one we're healing. That voice is the one that keeps you out of receiving mode. This isn't about fixing yourself. You're not broken. This is about remembering what you forgot. You were always worthy, always whole, always enough. The receiving mode isn't something you achieve, something you allow. So let's begin, shall we? Take a deep breath with me. And let's turn on the switch you didn't know you had. Part 1. Why you can't receive, even when you're doing everything right. Chapter 1. The frequency of not enough. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're sitting in meditation, asking the universe for financial abundance. You visualize the money. You feel grateful in advance. You say your affirmations. I am abundant. Money flows to me easily. Now check in with your body. What's happening underneath those words? If you're honest, really honest, there's probably a whisper somewhere that says, "But I don't have it yet. When will it come? Why isn't it here?" That whisper. That's the frequency of lack. And it's louder than your affirmations. The invisible block. Here's what most manifestation teachers won't tell you. The universe doesn't respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. Your frequency is the energetic signal your body broadcasts based on what you actually feel, not what you think you should feel. Think of it like this. You can say, "I'm confident" 1,000 times, but if your body is curled inward, your voice is shaking, and your heart is racing with anxiety, what message are you actually sending? The same applies to manifestation. You can affirm abundance all day long. But if your nervous system is in survival mode, if your body feels contracted with scarcity, if your subconscious believes "I'm not enough," that's the frequency the universe receives. And the universe is neutral. It doesn't judge. It simply matches your frequency and mirrors it back to you. This is the invisible block. You're asking for abundance while broadcasting lack. It's not your fault. You didn't choose this frequency consciously. But somewhere along the way you learned it. And now it runs on autopilot. Where not enough was born. I learned I wasn't enough when I was 7 years old. It was field day at my elementary school, the day we competed in relay races and tug-of-war. I came in second place in the sprint. Second. Out of 30 kids. I was proud. When I ran up to my dad, breathless and grinning, holding my red ribbon, I expected celebration. Instead, he smiled gently and said, "That's great, honey. But imagine how it would feel to get first next time." He didn't mean harm. He thought he was motivating me. But what I heard was, "Second isn't enough. You aren't enough." From that moment on, I chased first place in everything. Honor roll, spelling bees, science fairs. And every time I won, I got applause. Got validation. Got seen. But it never lasted. The applause always faded. And I'd have to do it again. This is how not enough gets encoded. Through small moments. Through conditional love. Through a society that rewards achievement and ignores being. You might have your own version of my field day story. Maybe it was a parent who only praised you when you brought home good grades. A relationship where you had to be perfect to avoid conflict. A workplace that only valued you for your productivity. Social media that taught you your worth is measured in likes. Over time, these moments compound. They create a core belief that runs beneath everything. I have to do something to deserve love. I have to earn my place here. And that belief, it becomes your frequency. The science part made simple. Let me explain this through energy psychology, but in a way that won't make your eyes glaze over. Everything in the universe is energy, vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs all carry frequencies too. In energy psychology, we use something called the emotional guidance scale, a spectrum of emotions ranging from low vibration feelings, like shame, fear, depression, to high vibration feelings, like joy, love, freedom. Here's what matters. Your manifestations exist at a certain frequency, and you can only receive them when you match that frequency. Let's say you want financial abundance. Abundance exists at a high frequency. Feelings of ease, trust, gratitude, sufficiency. But if you're feeling scarcity, low frequency. Worry about bills, fear of not having enough, stress about the future, there's a gap. You're tuned to the wrong station. Think about gratitude for a second. Why does every manifestation teacher tell you to practice gratitude? It's not just positive thinking. Gratitude is the frequency of already having. When you feel genuine gratitude, your body relaxes. Your nervous system shifts out of fight or flight. You literally broadcast the signal, I have enough. I'm enough. And the universe responds. Okay, here's more of that. But here's the problem. You can't fake this frequency. Your body knows the difference between mental gratitude, I should be grateful, and felt gratitude, I feel so full right now. The frequency of not enough lives in your body, not your mind. That's why affirmations alone don't work. You're trying to think your way out of a felt experience. Your subconscious, the part of you that actually runs 95% of your life, doesn't speak in words. It speaks in sensations, emotions, and felt truth. So when you say, I am abundant, but your body feels tight, anxious, and contracted, your subconscious says, we're lying. We don't believe this. And the frequency you broadcast is, I'm not enough. The pattern that keeps you stuck. Here's how it plays out in real life. 1. You want something, a relationship, money, success. 2. You ask for it, vision boards, affirmations, manifestation rituals. 3. You wait. And while waiting, you worry. 4. The worry reinforces, I don't have it. 5. That frequency pushes it further away. 6. You work harder, try more techniques, hustle more. 7. You burn out. 8. You still don't receive. 9. You conclude, I'm doing something wrong, or worse. I'm not meant to have this. But the truth is simpler. You never shifted into receiving mode. You stayed in proving mode. The frequency of, I'm not enough yet, but maybe if I do this, I'll finally be worthy. Let me be clear. I'm not saying desire is bad. I'm not saying you should stop wanting things or stop taking action. I'm saying you can't receive from a place of lack. You have to feel abundant before abundance shows up. You have to feel worthy before the manifestation arrives. You have to feel loved before the relationship appears. This is the quantum shift everyone talks about but few people actually teach. Journal prompt. When did I first learn I had to earn love? What moment taught me I wasn't enough as I was? Take a few minutes with this. Let the memory surface. Don't judge it. Just notice it. That moment is still running your frequency today. Let's keep going. The next chapter might sting a little, but I promise it's leading somewhere beautiful. Chapter 2. The Performance Trap. I want you to imagine something with me. You're standing on a stage. Maybe it's a school auditorium, maybe it's a conference room, maybe it's just your living room with family gathered around. You've just done something. Given a presentation, shared a success, accomplished a goal. And everyone applauds. Feel that for a second. The warmth. The validation. The visible proof that you matter. Now imagine the applause stops. Everyone goes back to their conversations. The room empties. You're alone. How do you feel? If you're like most of us, there's a drop. Quiet panic. A voice that whispers, I need to do it again. I need to earn that feeling again. Welcome to the performance trap. How we learn to perform. Nobody sat us down and explicitly taught us. Your worth is conditional. Earn it or lose it. But we learned it anyway. We learned it when we brought home a report card and our parents celebrated the A's, frowned at the B's. We posted something online and measured our value in likes and comments. We worked overtime and got praise, so we kept working overtime. We helped everyone around us and were called so selfless, so we kept abandoning ourselves. The pattern became clear. Do something impressive, get recognition, feel valuable. But here's the trap. That feeling never lasts. The applause fades. The validation is temporary. And you're left needing to perform again to feel worthy again. I lived this cycle for 20 years. In elementary school, I was the kid in every club, every competition, every honor roll announcement. In middle school, I had to be not just good, I had to be the best. A 90 wasn't enough. Had to be a 95 or higher. By high school, I'd internalized the equation completely. Achievement equals love. When I got into my top choice college, my family celebrated. But 2 weeks later, when the high wore off, I was already anxious about the next thing. I have to maintain this. I have to prove I deserved it. Can't mess this up. The trap had fully closed. Why hustling keeps you stuck. Fast forward to my late 20s. I was working in New York, building a business with a friend, wearing my exhaustion like a badge of honor. I'll sleep when I'm dead, I'd joke. Rest is for people who aren't serious about success. I genuinely believed that if I just worked hard enough, achieved enough, accumulated enough, then I'd be allowed to rest. Then I'd feel secure. Then I'd be worthy. But that moment never came. Because here's the energetic truth about hustling. When you chase something, you're broadcasting the frequency of not having it. Think about it. The word chase implies distance, separation. When you're hustling to prove your worth, you're operating from the belief that you don't have worth yet. And that belief, that frequency, is what the universe matches. I once had a student, Marcus, who ran a small pharmacy. He worked 16-hour days, managed every detail himself, and couldn't understand why his business wasn't growing. "I'm doing everything," he told me, frustrated. "I'm giving 110%. Why isn't it working?" I asked him one question. "When was the last time you rested?" He laughed. "I can't rest. If I rest, everything falls apart." 2 months later, he ended up in the hospital with stress-induced chest pains. He was forced to rest. And you know what happened? His sales doubled that month. Why? Because when he stopped micromanaging, stopped controlling, stopped hustling from fear, his energy shifted. His employees stepped up. His customers felt the difference. Opportunities he'd been too busy to notice suddenly appeared. This is the paradox. Sometimes you have to stop working for the thing to allow the thing to come to you. This isn't about being lazy. It's about understanding the energetic difference between chasing, "I don't have it, so I must pursue it," and receiving, "I am worthy of it, so I allow it to find me." One is rooted in lack. The other is rooted in worthiness. The exhaustion epidemic. Here's what nobody tells you about the performance trap. It doesn't just exhaust you. It rewires your nervous system to stay in survival mode. When you're constantly proving, achieving, hustling, your body interprets that as, "We're not safe yet. We have to keep running." Your nervous system gets stuck in sympathetic activation, fight or flight. Your cortisol stays elevated. Your body never fully relaxes. And from that state, you literally cannot receive. Think about it physically. When you're in fight or flight, your body is constricted, scanning for threats, prioritizing survival over growth. A shutdown to pleasure, rest, and ease. You can't receive a compliment when your nervous system is braced for criticism. You can't receive abundance when your body is clenched in scarcity. You can't receive love when your system believes love must be earned through performance. Your body becomes the block. And this is where most manifestation practices miss the mark. They focus on what you're thinking, visualizing, affirming, but they ignore what your nervous system is actually communicating. If your body doesn't feel safe to receive, no amount of vision boards will override that. The wake-up call. My wake-up call came in the form of complete breakdown. I'd been pushing for so long, through dental school, through launching a business, through trying to be everything to everyone, that I didn't notice the whispers. The whispers of a waking up exhausted no matter how much I slept. A food losing its taste. A laughter feeling foreign. And my body aching in ways I couldn't explain. I ignored them all, because resting felt like failing. Slowing down felt like losing. Until one morning I couldn't get out of bed. Not because I was tired. Because my body had completely shut down. Burnout. Depression. A kind of exhaustion so deep it felt cellular. That's when I learned. Your body will force you to rest if you won't choose it yourself. Looking back now, I see that breakdown as the greatest gift of my life. Because in that forced stillness, I finally heard what my body had been screaming. You don't have to earn your existence. You're already worthy. Please, please stop running. I don't want you to wait for a breakdown to hear that message. That's why I'm writing this. That's why this chapter might feel uncomfortable. Because if you're reading this and recognizing yourself in these words, if you're the person who can't rest without guilt, who measures your value by your productivity, who's terrified of slowing down, I need you to know. You're not broken. You're just stuck in a pattern that was never yours to begin with. And patterns can be changed. Journal prompt. What am I afraid will happen if I stop proving myself? Be honest. Write down every fear that surfaces. People will stop loving me. I'll lose everything I've built. I'll become lazy. I'll disappoint everyone. Don't censor it. These fears are running your life right now. Let's bring them into the light. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about the one thing that changes everything. Worthiness. Not as a concept, but as a frequency you can actually feel. Stay with me. Chapter 3. The Worthiness Frequency. There was a day, I remember it so clearly, when someone loved me while I was doing absolutely nothing. I was lying in bed, 3 weeks into my burnout, unable to work, unable to be productive, unable to offer anything to anyone. Felt like a burden. Like I'd failed at the one thing I knew how to do. Achieve. My mom came over with soup. She sat at the edge of my bed, brushed my hair back and said, "I'm so glad you're resting, sweetheart. I'm proud of you for stopping." I started crying. Not sad tears, confused tears. "But I'm not doing anything," I said. She smiled. "I know. And I love you anyway." That moment cracked something open in me. For the first time in my life, I felt loved without earning it. Without performing. Without proving. I felt worthy just for existing. And that feeling, that frequency, changed everything. What worthiness actually is. Let's clear something up. Worthiness isn't confidence. Confidence says, I can do this. Worthiness says, I belong here regardless of what I do. Confidence is performance-based. Worthiness is existence-based. You can be confident in your skills and still feel fundamentally unworthy. I was. You can achieve incredible things and still believe, deep down, that you're not enough. I did. Worthiness is the felt sense that you have inherent value, not because of what you do but because you exist. It's not something you build, something you remember. You were born worthy. Every baby knows this instinctively. Babies don't worry if they're enough. They don't hustle to prove their value. They simply exist, fully, unapologetically. And they receive love without question. Somewhere along the way you forgot. The world taught you that love is conditional, that you have to earn your place here. Worthiness is the journey back to what you always were. And here's why this matters for manifestation. Worthiness is the master frequency. When you feel worthy, truly worthy in your bones, you stop chasing. You stop proving. You start allowing. You allow good things to come to you. You allow rest without guilt. You allow yourself to receive without suspicion. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, of course me. The vibrational match. Remember how I said the universe responds to frequency, not just desire? Here's the key. You attract what you are, not what you want. If you want abundance but feel scarcity, you'll attract more scarcity. If you want love but feel unworthy, you'll attract relationships that reinforce unworthiness. If you want success but feel like an imposter, you'll sabotage your success when it arrives. But when you shift your internal frequency to match what you're calling in, everything changes. Let me give you a real example. When I was deep in my burnout, broke and unable to work, I couldn't manifest money from a place of, I need money. That frequency was pure lack. But when I started practicing worthiness, when I started feeling abundant in small, internal ways, gratitude for my breath, for sunlight, for my mom's soup, something shifted. I wasn't manifesting money. I was manifesting the feeling of abundance. And from that frequency, money started appearing. A random refund check. A friend paying back an old loan I'd forgotten about. An unexpected opportunity. It wasn't magic. It was vibrational alignment. The universe didn't change. I did. This is what quantum physics hints at. In its own complex way, your observation, your frequency, collapses possibility into reality. When you feel abundant, you see abundance. When you feel worthy, you notice opportunities you would have ignored before. It's not that those things weren't there. It's that you weren't tuned to the frequency that could perceive them. The scientific truth your body knows. Let me bring in some neuroscience, because this isn't just woo-woo. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS. Basically, a filter that decides what information gets through to your conscious awareness. Your RAS is programmed by your beliefs and emotions. If you believe you're unworthy, your RAS filters reality to confirm that belief. You'll notice every rejection, every slight, every piece of evidence that you're not enough. But when you shift to feeling worthy, your RAS reprograms. Suddenly you start noticing kindness, opportunities, and evidence that you do belong. Same reality, different filter. This is also why affirmations often fail. You can say, I am worthy 1,000 times, but if your nervous system doesn't feel it, if your body is still braced in unworthiness, your RS won't update. Worthiness has to be felt, not just thought. This is where somatic work comes in. Practices that help you feel worthiness in your body, not just think it in your mind. Because your body is where the truth lives. Your mind can lie. Your body can't. When you feel worthy, your shoulders relax. Your breath deepens. Your chest opens. There's a softness, a groundedness, a sense of I'm okay. Belong here. That's the frequency that changes everything. The secret nobody tells you. Here's the secret that took me years to learn. You don't build worthiness. You uncover it. Worthiness isn't something you achieve through personal development, therapy, or manifestation practices. Those things can help, yes, but they don't create worthiness. They remove the layers that buried it. Think of worthiness like the sun. The sun is always shining. Even on cloudy days, even at night, the sun is there. Your worthiness is the same. It's always been there. But it got covered by beliefs you absorbed as a child, traumas you experienced, messages society fed you, patterns you inherited. The work isn't to create worthiness. The work is to remember it. And remembering happens in moments, small moments, like my mom sitting at the edge of my bed, loving me for nothing. Like the first time you choose rest over productivity and the world doesn't end. Like the moment you receive a compliment and instead of deflecting you simply say, "Thank you." These moments are cracks in the old pattern. And through those cracks, your original worthiness shines through. Journal prompt. When do I feel worthy without doing anything? Is there a person, place, or moment where I just belong? Maybe it's when you're with your dog. Maybe it's in nature. Maybe it's in the quiet of early morning before the world asks anything of you. Find that feeling. Remember it. That's your worthiness frequency. That's what we're tuning into. Part 2. The 3 Keys to Receiving Mode. Chapter 4. Key number 1. Return to your body. The hospital room was quiet except for the beeping of monitors. I'd been lying there for 2 hours, hooked up to N4, waiting for test results. The doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. My symptoms didn't fit any clear diagnosis. Chronic pain, extreme fatigue, digestive issues that came and went, a body that had simply stopped cooperating. In that sterile room, with nothing to do but wait, I finally did something I hadn't done in years. I listened to my body. Not to fix it. Not to push through it. Not to override it with willpower. I just listened. And you know what I heard? I've been trying to tell you for years. You never stopped long enough to hear me. Why your body is the gateway. Here's something most manifestation teachers won't tell you. You cannot receive if you're not home. And by home, I mean your body. Your body is not just a vehicle that carries your brain around. It's not a machine you operate. Your body is where your frequency lives. Every emotion you feel, every belief you hold, every pattern you run, it's all stored in your body, in your nervous system, in your tissues, in your breath. When you're disconnected from your body, which most of us are, you're disconnected from your receiving mechanism. Think about it. When someone gives you a compliment and you can't receive it, where do you feel that block? In your throat, your chest, your stomach. When an opportunity appears and you feel unworthy, where does that unworthiness live? In the tightness of your shoulders, the shallow breath, the clenched jaw. Your body knows the truth before your mind catches up. And if your body doesn't feel safe, doesn't feel worthy, doesn't feel seen, you will unconsciously reject everything good that tries to come your way. This is why coming back to your body is the first key. Not the only key, but the foundation. Because you can't shift your frequency from your head. You have to shift it from your felt experience. The whispers you ignored. My body had been whispering to me for years. It started small. A waking up tired no matter how much I slept. A constant low-grade headache that I learned to ignore. Digestive issues that I blamed on stress. A tension in my neck and shoulders that I considered normal. A food that stopped tasting like anything. A flatness inside like I was going through the motions of life but not actually living. I ignored all of it. 'Cause I had things to do. Goals to hit. People depending on me. And resting, actually stopping to listen, felt like weakness. So the whispers got louder. The headaches became migraines. The tiredness became chronic fatigue. The digestive issues became debilitating. The tension became pain I couldn't ignore. And still I pushed through. Until my body stopped whispering and started screaming. That's when I ended up in the hospital. That's when everything came crashing down. But here's what I learned in that hospital bed. My body wasn't betraying me. It was trying to save me. Every symptom was a message. Slow down. Come back. Listen to me. I'm here. I just hadn't been listening. The practice, coming home. Let me teach you what I learned the hard way. How to actually listen to your body. This isn't about becoming a health nut or doing hours of yoga. Though those things are beautiful if they call to you. This is about simple, daily attunement. Here's the practice that changed everything for me. Step 1. Body scan basics. 3 minutes. Find a quiet moment. Can be first thing in the morning before bed, or even in your car before walking into work. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take 3 deep breaths. Then, starting from the top of your head, slowly scan down through your body. A head and face. Is there tension? Tightness? Softness? A neck and shoulders? What are they holding? A chest and heart? How does it feel to breathe here? A stomach and belly? What sensations are present? A hips and legs? Are they tired? Restless? Heavy? A feet? How are they making contact with the ground? Don't try to fix anything. Just notice. This alone is revolutionary. Most of us spend our entire lives above the neck. Thinking, planning, worrying. We've forgotten we even have a body until it hurts. The body scan brings you back home. Step 2. Asking, what do you need today? Once you've scanned, ask your body a simple question. What do you need from me today? Then wait. Don't answer with your mind. Let your body respond. Maybe it says, water, rest, movement, to be held, fresh air, less caffeine, a slower morning. The answer might be quiet, subtle, but it's there. Step 3. Following through, even in tiny ways. Here's the key. Actually honor what your body tells you, even in the smallest way. If your body says it needs water, drink a glass. If it says it needs rest, take 5 minutes to lie down. If it says it needs movement, stretch for 2 minutes. Doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to overhaul your entire life. You just have to show your body that you're listening. Because every time you listen and respond, you're sending a message to your subconscious. I see you. You matter. Your needs are important. And that message, that's the frequency of worthiness. What changes when you listen? I had a student named Rachel who came to me completely burned out. She was a single mom, working 2 jobs, barely sleeping, and her body was falling apart. "I don't have time to rest," she told me. "If I stop, everything falls apart." I gave her one assignment. For the next 7 days, spend 3 minutes every morning doing a body scan. And honor one thing your body asks for. Just one. She was skeptical, but she tried. Day 1, her body said, "I need more water." So she drank an extra glass. Day 2, "I need to sit down while I eat." So instead of eating standing at the counter, she sat. Day 3, "I need 5 minutes of quiet before I start my day." So she sat in her car for 5 minutes before going inside to wake the kids. Nothing dramatic. Nothing time-consuming. But by day 7, something had shifted. "I feel less frantic," she said. "Like I'm not just surviving anymore. Like I'm actually in my life." 3 months later, she called me crying. Happy tears. She'd been offered a better-paying job, completely out of the blue. A friend had offered to watch her kids 1 day a week so she could have time to herself. Her body, which had been in constant pain, started feeling better. "I didn't manifest any of this directly," she said. "I just started listening to my body, and everything else followed." This is what I mean by the energetic shift. When you come back to your body, when you honor its needs, when you treat yourself like someone who matters, you're not just taking care of yourself. You're broadcasting the frequency. I am worthy of care. I am worthy of being seen. I am worthy of having my needs met. And the universe responds. Okay, here's more of that. The science of being seen. There's a concept in psychology called attunement. When someone pays attention to you, really sees you, really listens to you. Babies need attunement to develop healthily. When a caregiver responds to a baby's cries, when they make eye contact, when they hold them gently, that baby learns. I matter. My needs are important. I am worthy of care. But many of us didn't get consistent attunement growing up. Maybe our parents were distracted, overwhelmed, or emotionally unavailable. Maybe we learned early on that our needs were inconvenient. So we stopped expressing them. We stopped listening to them. We abandoned ourselves. Coming back to your body is reparenting yourself. When you do a body scan, you're saying, I see you. When you ask what your body needs, you're saying, I'm listening. When you honor that need, you're saying, you matter. This is attunement. And attunement creates safety. And safety allows you to receive. Real-life examples. Let me give you some practical ways this shows up. Morning body check-in ritual. Before reaching for your phone, before starting your to-do list, place your hand on your heart. Take 3 breaths. Ask, how are we today? Listen. Respond. Honoring hunger and thirst. Instead of powering through on coffee and ignoring your body's signals, pause. Eat when you're hungry. Drink when you're thirsty. Sounds basic, but how many of us actually do this consistently? The radical act of going slower. When your body feels tired, don't override it with caffeine or willpower. Rest, even for 5 minutes. Show your body that its signals matter. Moving with kindness. Exercise shouldn't be punishment. If your body wants to move, move in ways that feel good. Gentle stretching. Walk. Dancing in your kitchen. Movement as pleasure, not penance. Saying no when your body says stop. This is the big one. When your body is screaming for rest but your calendar is packed. Choose your body. Cancel something. Disappoint someone. Your body's needs are not optional. Every single time you choose your body over external demands, You're rewiring your nervous system. You're teaching yourself. I am worthy of having boundaries. I am worthy of rest. I am worthy of being treated well by myself. The moment everything shifted for me. I'll never forget the first time I truly listened to my body and honored what it said. I was 3 months into recovery from burnout. I'd committed to teaching a workshop that weekend. My first public appearance since everything fell apart. I'd already promoted it. People had signed up. I felt obligated. But that morning my body said very clearly, I'm not ready. This is too much. Old me would have pushed through. Would have told myself to suck it up, that people were counting on me, that I couldn't let them down. But I'd been practicing. I'd been listening. So I canceled the workshop. I sent an email apologizing, offered refunds, and felt sick with guilt. But my body exhaled. My shoulders dropped. I could breathe fully for the first time in days. And you know what happened? Not a single person was angry. Most people replied with kindness. Take care of yourself. We'll be here when you're ready. That's when I learned. The world doesn't fall apart when you honor your body. The world adjusts. And more than that, honoring my body in that moment sent a signal so deep into my subconscious that everything started to shift. I started receiving. Not just things but the feeling of being worthy to receive. Opportunities came more easily. Relationships felt softer. Money flowed in unexpected ways. Not because I was hustling. Because I'd finally come home. Practice. 5-minute body listening meditation. Let's do this together right now. If you can, find a comfortable seat or lie down. Minute 1. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Let your body settle. Minute 2. Starting at the crown of your head, scan slowly down. Notice any sensations. Tension. Warmth. Tingling. Numbness. Don't judge it. Just notice. Minute 3. When you reach your heart, pause. Place your hand there if it feels good. Ask silently, what do you need from me right now? Wait for the answer. It might be a word, a feeling, an image. Minute 4. Continue scanning down to your belly, your hips, your legs, your feet. Notice how it feels to be in your body right now. Minute 5. Before you open your eyes, say to your body, out loud or silently, thank you for being here. Thank you for carrying me. I see you. Then open your eyes. How do you feel? What did your body tell you? Journal prompt. What has my body been trying to tell me that I've been ignoring? Write it down. All of it. Tiredness, pain, the cravings, the resistance. Don't censor. Your body has been speaking. It's time to listen. Key number 1 is complete. You're learning to come home to yourself. In the next chapter we'll talk about key number 2, the one that might feel the hardest but is absolutely essential. Permission to rest. Chapter 5. Key number 2. Give yourself permission to rest. I did nothing for an entire day, and it was the most productive day of my life. Let me explain. It was 6 months after my burnout. I'd been rebuilding slowly, teaching small workshops, starting to work again, but this time with boundaries. I was learning, practicing, doing better. But one Saturday morning I woke up and felt tired. Not sick tired. Not burnout tired. Just regular human tired. Old me would have ignored it. Would have made coffee, pushed through, checked off my to-do list. But I'd been practicing listening to my body. So I asked, what do you need today? The answer was clear. Nothing. Rest. And for the first time in my life, I listened completely. Cancelled my plans. I stayed in my pajamas. I didn't check email. I didn't catch up on anything. I read a book. I napped. I stared out the window. I did absolutely gloriously nothing. And I felt guilty the entire time. My mind kept trying to convince me I was wasting the day. That I should be doing something productive. That I was being lazy. But I stayed with it. I let the guilt be there without acting on it. And then something happened. Around 4 p.m., after hours of genuine rest, an idea dropped into my consciousness. Fully formed, crystal clear. It was the concept for what would become my most successful online course. I didn't have to force it. I didn't have to brainstorm or hustle for it. It came to me because I'd finally created space for it to land. That's when I understood. Rest isn't the absence of productivity. Rest is how you access a different kind of power. The rest you've been avoiding. Let's be honest. Most of us are terrified of rest. Not because we don't want it. God, we're exhausted. We crave rest. But we're afraid of what rest means. We're afraid that if we stop, we'll fall behind. Or we'll lose our edge. People will stop needing us. Or we'll be forgotten. We'll prove we're actually lazy. Everything we've built will crumble. We've been taught that our value is in our doing, not our being. So we stay busy. We stay productive. We fill every moment with tasks, scrolling, noise. Anything to avoid the quiet where we might have to face ourselves. But here's what nobody tells you. The constant doing is what's keeping you stuck. When you're always in motion, always producing, always achieving, you're operating from your masculine energy. The energy of action, effort, force. And masculine energy is beautiful. We need it. Gets things done. But manifestation. Receiving. That's feminine energy. The energy of allowing, opening, receptivity. You can't receive while you're clenching your fists. You have to open your hands. You have to soften. You have to rest. The productivity trap, even in manifestation. Here's where it gets tricky. Many of us have turned even our manifestation practice into another form of hustle. We visualize for 30 minutes. We journal every morning. We do our affirmations. We create vision boards. We follow the perfect routine. And then we wonder why it's not working. Because we're still doing to prove we're worthy of receiving. We're trying to earn our manifestations through spiritual productivity. But the universe doesn't reward effort. It responds to frequency. And the frequency of "I must do all these techniques perfectly or it won't work" is control, fear. I'm not saying don't take inspired action. I'm not saying abandon your practices. I'm saying, are you doing them from a place of trust? Or from a place of terror that if you stop, nothing will come? There's a huge difference between I'm meditating because it feels good and raises my frequency. I'm meditating because if I don't, I won't manifest what I want. One is receptive. One is controlling. One opens you. One contracts you. The science of receiving through rest. Let me bring in some nervous system science, because this isn't just spiritual talk, it's biology. Your nervous system has two primary states. 1. Sympathetic, fight or flight. This is your doing mode. Your body is mobilized, alert, ready to take action. Your heart rate increases. Your muscles tense. You're prepared to respond to threat. This is great for short bursts. Giving a presentation, meeting a deadline, handling an emergency. But when you're chronically in sympathetic activation, which most of us are, your body interprets life as one long emergency. You're running on stress hormones. You're in survival mode. And in survival mode you cannot receive. Your nervous system is literally saying, "We're not safe. We need to keep fighting." There's no space for rest, pleasure, or receptivity. 2. Parasympathetic. Rest and digest. This is your being mode. Your body relaxes. Your heart rate slows. Your breathing deepens. Your digestive system works properly. Your immune system functions optimally. This is where healing happens, where creativity flows, where intuition speaks, and this is where receiving happens. When your nervous system feels safe enough to rest, it opens the gates. It says, "Okay, we're safe now. We can let good things in." You cannot manifest from sympathetic dominance. You can only receive from parasympathetic presence. This is why people often manifest things after they stop trying so hard, after they give up, after they finally rest. It's not that giving up worked. It's that they finally dropped into a receptive state. Practice. Sacred pause. So how do you actually give yourself permission to rest? Especially when guilt shows up. When your to-do list is screaming. When rest feels impossible. Here's what worked for me. Start with 10 minutes of nothing time. I know you're busy. I know you have a million things to do. I know rest feels like a luxury you can't afford. So I'm not asking you to take a week-long retreat, though if you can, please do. I'm asking for 10 minutes a day where you do absolutely nothing productive. Not meditation, that's still doing something. Not self-care, that's often just more tasks. Not scrolling, that's stimulation, not rest. Literally nothing. Stare out a window. Lie on your bed. Watch the trees. Feel the sun on your face. Let your mind wander. No agenda. No goal. No outcome to achieve. Just being. What to do when guilt shows up? Because it will. The moment you stop, your mind will panic. I'm wasting time. I should be doing something. This is selfish. I don't deserve this. When those thoughts come, and they will, don't fight them. Don't try to positive think them away. Just notice them. Oh, there's the guilt. There's the voice that says I'm not allowed to rest. Acknowledge it like you'd acknowledge a scared child. I hear you. You're worried. But we're safe. We're allowed to rest. Then stay in the rest anyway. The guilt doesn't have to go away for rest to be valuable. You can rest with the guilt present. Over time, days, weeks, the guilt will soften. Your nervous system will learn. Oh, resting doesn't mean everything falls apart. We're actually okay. The art of doing less, attracting more. This was the hardest lesson for me to learn. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. When I started my online course, I had this whole marketing plan. Daily posts, email sequences, launch strategies. I was going to make it successful through effort. But I was also exhausted. So one week I just didn't do any of it. I rested instead. I trusted instead. And that week I got more sign-ups than any week I'd been actively promoting. Why? Not because the universe rewards laziness. Because when I stopped forcing, I stopped blocking. My energy shifted from I need this to work, desperation, to I trust this will unfold, faith. And people felt that difference. Stories that prove it. Let me share a few more examples because I know your mind is probably arguing with everything I'm saying right now. The pharmacy owner. Remember Marcus from chapter 2? When he was hospitalized and forced to rest, his sales doubled. But here's what he told me later. It wasn't just that month. Everything changed after that. I learned to build rest into my schedule, hired more staff. I stopped micromanaging. And the business kept growing, not despite my rest but because of it. When I stopped treating my business like it would die without me, it thrived. My channel. When I first started my YouTube channel, I posted every week without fail. I thought consistency was everything. Then I had a family emergency and didn't post for 3 weeks. I was terrified. I thought I'd lose all my momentum. Instead, the algorithm picked up my older videos. New subscribers flooded in. When I came back, my channel was bigger than when I'd left. The pattern. Empty space invites abundance. The burned out creative. A student of mine, Jessica, was a graphic designer working 70-hour weeks. She was manifesting more clients because she thought more clients equals more success. I asked her, "Do you actually want more clients? Or do you want more ease?" She broke down crying. "I want ease. But I don't know how to get it without giving up my career." I gave her permission to rest, to turn down projects, to work less. She was terrified, but she tried. She cut her hours in half, started saying no to clients who drained her, built in rest days. And within 3 months, her income increased, not because she was working more, because the clients she did work with were higher paying, more aligned, and more enjoyable. She stopped attracting from exhaustion and started attracting from alignment. What rest actually means. Let me be clear about what I mean by rest, because there's a lot of confusion around this. Rest doesn't mean quitting your job and never working again. It being irresponsible, avoiding challenges, becoming passive or apathetic. Rest means a daily moments where you're not producing anything, a doing things purely because they feel good, not because they're productive, a slowing down enough to hear your intuition, creating space between stimulus and response, letting your nervous system recalibrate, trusting that your worth isn't tied to your output. Rest can look like sitting in your car for 5 minutes before walking into work, taking a real lunch break instead of eating at your desk, a saying no to plans when your body needs quiet, a watching the sunset without posting about it, a Sunday with no agenda, turning off your phone for an hour, a walk with no destination, a reading for pleasure, not self-improvement. Rest is any moment where you're not trying to earn, prove, or achieve anything. And those moments, they're when the magic happens. The paradigm shift. Here's what I need you to understand. Really understand. Rest is not something you earn. Something you require. You don't need to work hard enough to deserve rest. You don't need to hit certain goals before you're allowed to rest. You need rest to be human. Period. Your body needs it. Your nervous system needs it. Your soul needs it. And your manifestations. They're waiting for you to create the space to receive them. Think about a garden. You can't force a seed to grow by pulling on it, by hovering over it, by stressing about it. You plant it. You water it. And then you let it be. You trust that the seed knows how to become a flower. You trust the process. Your manifestations are the same. You've planted the seed, you've set the intention. You've watered it, you've aligned your frequency. Now you have to let it grow. And that requires space, stillness, trust, Rest is not the enemy of manifestation. Rest is the womb where manifestation gestates. Practice. Design your 10-minute, nothing time. Right now I want you to schedule it. Not when you have time. Look at your calendar. Find 10 minutes tomorrow. Block it off. Label it rest or nothing time or sacred pause. Then tomorrow honor it. No phone. No productivity. No agenda. Just you. Just being. Notice what happens. Notice how it feels. Notice what tries to pull you away from it. And stay anyway. Journal prompt. What would I do if I had 10 minutes just for me? What would feel restful, not productive? Write it down. Then actually do it. This is not a someday practice. This is a today practice. You've learned the first 2 keys. Return to your body. Give yourself permission to rest. Now we're ready for key number 3. The one that changes everything at the root. This is where worthiness becomes automatic. Where receiving becomes natural. Let's keep going.
Chapter 6. Key number 3. Celebrate the cause, not the effect. My daughter was 4 years old, standing at the kitchen counter with flour everywhere, trying to crack an egg into a bowl. She missed. The egg splattered on the floor. She looked up at me, waiting to see if I'd be disappointed, if she'd failed. I knelt down, eye level with her, and said, "I'm so proud of you for trying. You were so brave to crack that egg yourself." Her whole face lit up. Not because she'd succeeded, because I'd seen her trying. That moment taught me more about manifestation than any book ever could. Because that's how you heal the root of unworthiness. You celebrate the trying, not just the achieving. The small win trap. Most of us have been taught to celebrate results. We celebrate when we get the promotion, hit the goal weight, make the sale, finish the project, win the award, cross the finish line. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating outcomes. They're beautiful. But here's the trap. When you only celebrate results, you teach yourself that your value is conditional. You learn, I'm worthy when I succeed. I'm valuable when I achieve. I matter when I win. And what happens when you don't succeed? When you try and fail? When you work hard but don't get the outcome? You conclude, I'm not worthy. I'm not enough. I shouldn't have even tried. This is the pattern that keeps you hustling forever. You chase the next achievement to feel worthy again. You need external validation to feel valuable. Your worth becomes a moving target that you can never quite reach. The difference: wins at the cause versus wins at the effect. Let me explain what I mean by cause and effect. Effect equals the outcome, the result, the thing you can measure. You got the job. You made the money. You lost the weight. You manifested the relationship. Cause equals the effort, the courage, the showing up, the trying. You applied for the job, regardless of whether you got it. You took aligned action, regardless of the immediate outcome. You honored your body, regardless of what the scale says. You opened your heart, regardless of who stayed or left. When you celebrate the effect, you're celebrating what happened to you. When you celebrate the cause, you're celebrating what you chose as yourself, who you decided to be. And here's why this changes everything. You can't always control the effect, but you can always show up at the cause. The job might go to someone else. The money might take longer to arrive. The weight might fluctuate. The relationship might not work out. But you showed up. You tried. You took the risk. You honored yourself. That's what makes you worthy, not the result. What this does to your frequency. Remember how I said worthiness is the master frequency? Celebrating the cause is how you build that frequency into your daily life. Every time you acknowledge yourself for showing up, win or lose, success or failure, you're sending a message to your subconscious. My value isn't in the outcome. My value is inherent. I'm proud of me just for being here, just for trying. That message rewires everything. It shifts you from a performing for approval, being authentic, a chasing outcomes, trusting the process, a external validation, internal knowing, a conditional worth, inherent worth. This is the frequency of receiving mode. Because when you know you're worthy regardless of outcomes, you stop gripping so tightly. You stop needing things to work out to prove your value. You relax into trust. You open into allowing. And that's when everything you've been chasing starts finding you. The practice. Root level recognition. So how do you actually do this? How do you celebrate the cause when your whole life has been about celebrating effects? Here's what I've learned. Talk to yourself like someone who loves you. This is the foundation of everything. Most of us have an internal voice that sounds like a harsh critic. You should have done better. That wasn't good enough. Why did you even try? But imagine if someone you loved deeply, your child, your best friend, your younger self, came to you and said, I tried something new today. I didn't do it perfectly. I'm not sure it even worked. What would you say to them? You'd probably say something like, I'm so proud of you for trying. It takes courage to do something new. The outcome doesn't matter. You showed up. I love you regardless of whether you succeed. That's how you need to talk to yourself. Not as a drill sergeant demanding results. As a loving witness celebrating your courage. The words that changed everything for me. When I was rebuilding my life after burnout, I started a daily practice. Every night before bed, I'd place my hand on my heart and say, I'm proud of you for showing up today. Not for what you accomplished. Just for being here. For trying. You're enough exactly as you are. At first, it felt awkward. Fake. My mind argued. But I didn't do anything today. I didn't achieve anything. But I kept going. Night after night. And slowly, something shifted. I started feeling genuinely proud of myself. Not for outcomes, but for the small, brave acts of showing up. I got out of bed even though I was depressed. I asked for help even though it felt vulnerable. I said no to something even though I felt guilty. I tried something new even though I was scared. None of these had visible outcomes. But they were everything. They were the cause. And celebrating them rebuilt my sense of worthiness from the ground up. Real-life application. Here's how this looks in daily life. Instead of, I'm only proud of myself if I finish this project perfectly, try. I'm proud of myself for starting, for trying, for showing up today. Instead of, I failed. I shouldn't have even tried. Try. I was brave enough to try. That takes courage. I'm proud of that. Instead of, I only have value when I succeed, try. My value isn't in the outcome. My value is in who I am. Instead of, I have to earn love through achievement, try, I'm worthy of love just for existing. Today I showed up. That's enough. These aren't just affirmations. These are truth-telling. You're retraining your nervous system to believe you're safe, you're worthy, you're enough, regardless of external validation. A practice I use with my students. I teach this in all my courses because it's so powerful. Daily small win at the root journal. Every evening, write down 3 things. But not 3 achievements. 3 efforts. Not a white heavy check mark. I finished the presentation. A white heavy check mark. I got 100 likes on my post. A white heavy check mark. I made $500 today. Instead. A white heavy check mark. I worked on the presentation even though I felt anxious. A white heavy check mark. I shared something authentic even though I was scared of judgment. A white heavy check mark. I sent the invoice even though I worried about being rejected. See the difference? You're not celebrating what happened to you. You're celebrating what you chose as you. The action. The courage. The showing up. And then after you write each one, say out loud or silently, I'm proud of me for this. Not, I'm proud because it worked out. Just, I'm proud because I tried. This practice alone has transformed dozens of my students' relationships with themselves. Why this unlocks everything. Here's the magic of celebrating the cause. You stop tying your worth to outcomes you can't control. When your worth is based on effects, on getting the job, making the money, achieving the goal, you're always at the mercy of external circumstances. But when your worth is based on cause, on showing up, trying, being courageous, you're in control. You can always choose to show up. You can always choose to try. You can always choose to be brave. Your worthiness becomes unconditional. And when your worthiness is unconditional, your nervous system finally feels safe. It stops scanning for threats. It stops bracing for rejection. It stops needing to prove anything. It opens into receiving mode. Suddenly, compliments land instead of bouncing off. Our opportunities feel natural instead of suspicious. Good things don't trigger. The other shoe is about to drop. You can rest without guilt because your worth isn't tied to productivity. You trust that you're enough, so you stop chasing breadcrumbs and start allowing abundance. This is the shift. This is the key. Stories of transformation. The student who couldn't receive love. I had a student, Maria, who'd been single for 5 years. She desperately wanted a relationship but kept manifesting the same pattern. Men would show interest, then disappear. In our work together, I realized she only felt worthy when men pursued her, when they validated her. But the moment they showed genuine interest, the moment she'd have to actually receive love, she'd sabotage it. Why? Because deep down, she didn't feel worthy of being loved just for existing. She felt worthy of being chased, the performance, but not worthy of being kept, the being. I gave her one assignment. For the next month, celebrate yourself every day for something that has nothing to do with men, dating, or external validation. She resisted at first. But I want to manifest a relationship. How does this help? I said, you can't receive love from someone else until you can receive it from yourself. She started small. I'm proud of myself for speaking up in that meeting. I'm proud of myself for resting when I needed to. I'm proud of myself for being honest with my friend. Within 2 months, something shifted. She stopped obsessing over dating apps. She stopped performing for male attention. And that's when she met someone. Someone who loved her for who she actually was, not for who she was trying to be. She called me crying, happy tears again. I can finally receive it. I can finally believe someone loves me. Because I finally love me. That's the power of celebrating the cause. The compound effect of self-witnessing. Here's what most people don't realize. The universe isn't the primary witness of your worth. You are. When you wait for external validation, applause, likes, promotions, praise, you're outsourcing your worthiness. But when you become your own witness, when you celebrate yourself for showing up regardless of outcomes, something incredible happens. You become unshakable. Your worth is no longer up for debate. It's not dependent on someone else's opinion, someone else's approval, someone else's decision. You know you're worthy because you decided you are. And that decision, that frequency, changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to neediness. It responds to wholeness. When you're whole within yourself, you stop chasing. And when you stop chasing, everything starts coming to you. Practice. Daily small win at the root journal template. Tonight, before bed, write down. 1. One thing I did today that took courage, regardless of the outcome. 2. One way I showed up for myself, regardless of whether anyone noticed. 3. One moment I chose authenticity over performance, regardless of the response. Then say to yourself, I'm proud of me for these things. Not because they worked out perfectly, just because I tried. I'm enough. Do this every day for a week. Watch what shifts. Journal prompt. What would I say to someone I deeply love who just tried something and failed? Can I say those same words to myself? Write it out. Then read it out loud to yourself. Let yourself receive your own love. You've now learned all 3 keys. 1. Return to your body, come home. Listen. Honor your needs. 2. Give yourself permission to rest, create space, trust, allow. 3. Celebrate the cause, not the effect, acknowledge your courage. Build unconditional worth. In part 3, we'll put it all together into one simple, powerful, 10-minute daily practice that will change your life. Almost there, beautiful soul. Stay with me. Shall I continue with part 3, the 10-minute daily practice? Part 3, the 10-minute daily practice. Chapter 7. Your morning receiving ritual. It was 6:17 a.m. I'd been awake for exactly 2 minutes, still in bed, eyes barely open. For the first time in years, I wasn't reaching for my phone. Wasn't mentally running through my to-do list. Wasn't bracing for the day ahead. Instead, I placed my hand on my heart and took 3 slow breaths. Just that. 3 breaths. And in those breaths, something happened that changed everything. I felt myself arrive in my own body. Not thinking about my body. Not analyzing my body. Just being in it. That was the beginning of my 10-minute morning receiving ritual. The practice that shifted me from hustling for breadcrumbs to attracting abundance by simply being myself. This is what I'm about to teach you. It's simple. It's gentle. And it works, not because it's complicated, but because it addresses the one thing most manifestation practices ignore. Your frequency. Why morning? Let me explain why I'm asking you to do this first thing in the morning, before anything else. Your subconscious mind is most open in the first few minutes after waking. Throughout the night, your brain moves through different sleep cycles. When you wake up, you're transitioning from theta brainwave state, deep subconscious, to alpha, relaxed awareness, to beta, active thinking. That transition period, those first few minutes, is when your conscious mind hasn't fully taken over yet. Your inner critic isn't fully awake. Your to-do list hasn't started screaming. You have a window of openness. This is the perfect time to install new frequencies. To speak to your subconscious in the language it understands. Feeling. Think about it. What do most people do in those first few minutes? They grab their phone. Check email. Scroll social media. Immediately download other people's energy, other people's priorities, other people's emergencies. They give away their power before they've even claimed it. Your morning ritual is different. It's about claiming your frequency first. Setting your internal state before the world makes demands. It's about becoming the person who receives, before you start doing. The neuroscience of morning rituals. Let me give you a bit of brain science, because this isn't just woo-woo, it's neurobiology. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to form new neural pathways based on repeated experiences. Every time you practice a new pattern, you strengthen that pathway. Every time you choose a new response, you make it easier to choose it again. Your morning ritual is literally rewiring your brain. When you consistently practice feeling worthy, feeling abundant, feeling safe to receive, you're creating new neural highways. You're teaching your subconscious, this is who we are now. And your subconscious. It doesn't argue. It just accepts what you repeatedly show it as truth. This is why consistency matters more than perfection. 10 minutes every day for 30 days will create more transformation than one perfect hour once a week. Small, consistent shifts compound into massive change. The 10-minute receiving mode practice. Okay, let's break this down step by step. I'm going to walk you through exactly what I do every single morning. You can follow this exactly, or adapt it to what feels right for you. The only rule: be gentle with yourself. This isn't another thing to perfect. It's a practice of coming home. Minute 1 to 3. Body check-in. What you're doing. Returning to your body. Listening. Acknowledging. How to do it. Sit up in bed or find a comfortable seat. If you're still lying down, that's fine too. Just make sure you won't fall back asleep. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take 3 deep breaths, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Let each exhale be audibly long, like a sigh of relief. Then, starting at the top of your head, scan slowly down through your body. A head and face. Notice any tension. Is your jaw clenched? Are your eyes tight? A neck and shoulders. What are they holding? Can you let them drop even just a little? A chest and heart. How does it feel to breathe here? Tight. Open. Neutral. A belly. Is it soft? Clenched. What sensations are present? A hips, legs, feet. Notice temperature, weight, any sensations. Don't fix anything. Just notice. Then, place your hand on your heart, or your belly, wherever feels good, and ask, what do you need from me today? Wait. Listen. The answer might be, a more water, a gentleness, a movement, to slow down, to speak up, a nothing, just this presence. Whatever comes, acknowledge it. I hear you. Thank you for telling me why this matters. You're starting your day by honoring yourself, by witnessing yourself, by saying, you matter. Your needs matter. I'm here. This is the frequency of worthiness. Minute 4 to 6. Gratitude as frequency. What you're doing. Shifting into the feeling of already having. Tuning to abundance. How to do it. This is not about making a gratitude list in your head. This is not about thinking grateful thoughts. This is about feeling gratitude in your body. Here's how. Think of one thing, just one, that you genuinely feel grateful for right now. Not something you should be grateful for. Something that actually makes your heart feel warm. Maybe it's the softness of your blanket, the light coming through your window, your dog sleeping next to you, the fact that you woke up this morning, the coffee you're about to make, a person you love. Once you have it, don't just think about it. Feel it. Where do you feel the gratitude in your body? Your chest, your belly, your throat. Let the feeling expand. Let it fill you. Let it be bigger than the thought. Stay here for at least a full minute. Just feeling. If your mind wanders, it will. Gently bring it back to the feeling. Optional addition. As you feel this gratitude, whisper or think. This is what abundance feels like. This is the frequency I'm tuning to today. Why this matters. Gratitude isn't just a nice practice. Gratitude is the frequency of having received. When you feel grateful, your body relaxes. Your nervous system signals. We're safe. We have enough. We're abundant. And the universe responds to that frequency. You want more of that feeling? Here. You're not manifesting things. You're manifesting the feeling that brings things. Minute 7 to 9. Future self-embodiment. What you're doing. Collapsing time. Feeling your desired reality now. Making the quantum jump. How to do it. This is where most people visualize. Seeing themselves in the future, having what they want. But I want you to do something more powerful. Inhabit it. Think of one thing you're manifesting. One desire. If you have multiple, pick one for today. Maybe it's financial abundance, a loving relationship, your dream home, a creative success, inner peace. Now, don't visualize it as something out there that you're trying to reach. Feel what it would feel like if you already had it. Not, I will feel abundant. But, this is what abundance feels like in my body right now. Ask yourself, if I already had this, how would my body feel? Relaxed, open, light, expansive. How would I breathe? Deeply, freely. What would be present in my chest? Warmth, ease, joy. How would I move through my day? With trust, with confidence, with softness. Then embody that feeling right now. Let your shoulders drop into that ease. Let your breath deepen into that trust. Let your heart open into that joy. Stay here for 2 to 3 minutes. Let this become your reality in this moment. You're not pretending. You're not faking it. You're tuning your frequency to match the reality you're calling in. Why this matters. In quantum physics, the act of observation collapses the wave function. Possibility becomes reality based on where you place your attention and energy. In simpler terms, you attract what you are, not what you want. When you embody the frequency of having already received, you become a vibrational match for that reality. You're not chasing it. You're becoming it. Minute 10. Permission statement. What you're doing. Speaking your worthiness out loud. Sealing the practice with declaration. How to do it. This is the most important minute. Don't skip it. Place both hands on your heart. Feel your heartbeat if you can. Then say out loud, or silently if you must, but out loud is more powerful. I give myself permission to receive. I am worthy of having my desires. I am enough exactly as I am. Today, I allow good things to come to me. Or use one of these variations. I am safe to receive. I don't have to earn this. I am worthy just for being here. I am whole. I am abundant. I am loved. I receive easily and naturally. I trust that what's meant for me will find me. I don't have to force anything. I am open. Say it slowly. Mean it. Let the words land in your body. If tears come, let them. If emotion rises, let it. This is your worthiness awakening. Then take one final deep breath, open your eyes, and say, thank you. To yourself. To your body. To the universe. To whatever force you believe in. Why this matters. Words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. When you speak something out loud, you're not just thinking it, you're declaring it into existence. Your subconscious hears it. Your nervous system registers it. Your entire being aligns with it. This is how you seal the frequency you've just cultivated. Making it yours. I just gave you the structure I use. But here's the truth. Your practice needs to feel like yours. If sitting still doesn't work for you, do this while stretching. If silence feels uncomfortable, play soft music. If 10 minutes feels too long at first, start with 5. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency. Even if you do an imperfect, distracted, rushed version, it's still better than skipping it entirely. Because every single time you show up for this practice, you're sending a message to yourself. I matter. My frequency matters. I'm worth 10 minutes of my own presence. And that message. That's the foundation of receiving mode. What if you miss a day? You will. Life happens. You'll sleep through your alarm. You'll have an emergency. You'll forget. And that's completely okay. The old you would make this mean something. I'm not disciplined enough. I'm failing. I should just give up. But the new you. The you who celebrates the cause, not just the effect. You'll simply notice. Oh, I missed today. That's okay. I'll do it tomorrow. No shame. No guilt. No making it mean you're not worthy. You just begin again. This is part of the practice. Coming back. Over and over. With gentleness. The compound effect over 30 days. Let me tell you what happened when I committed to this practice for 30 days straight. Week 1. It felt awkward. My mind kept wandering. I wasn't sure it was working. But I showed up anyway. Week 2. I started noticing small shifts. I felt calmer. Less reactive. More present in my body. Week 3. things started appearing. Small opportunities. Unexpected money. A text from someone I'd been thinking about. Nothing huge, but consistent. Week 4. The internal shift was undeniable. I felt different, lighter, more trusting. Like I was walking through life with my arms open instead of my fists clenched. And by day 30, I was a different person. Not because I'd achieved anything external. Because I'd shifted internally. I'd reprogrammed my frequency from I have to earn everything to I'm worthy of receiving. And from that new frequency, everything changed. My business grew without me hustling. Relationships deepened without me forcing. Opportunities arrived without me chasing. I was finally in receiving mode. Your 30-day invitation. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Commit to this practice for 30 days. Just 30 days. 10 minutes each morning. Don't worry about whether it's working. Don't analyze whether you're doing it right. Just show up. Just practice. Just let it work on you. And if you want to deepen the practice, journal after each session. How did my body feel today? What came up during future self-embodiment? What's shifting, even subtly? Track it. Witness it. Celebrate it. Because I promise you, if you show up for yourself for 30 days, you will not be the same person at the end. You'll be someone who knows how to receive. Practice. Your morning receiving ritual. Summary. Total time. 10 minutes. 1. Minutes 1 to 3. Body check-in. Scan, listen, ask what you need. 2. Minutes 4 to 6. Gratitude as frequency. Feel it in your body. 3. Minutes 7 to 9. Future self-embodiment. Feel your desire as present reality. 4. Minute 10. Permission statement. Declare your worthiness out loud. Do this every morning for 30 days. Watch everything change. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about integration. What happens after the 30 days, how to navigate challenges, and how to live from receiving mode long-term. We're almost at the finish line. You're doing beautifully. Let's complete this together. Chapter 8. Integration. Living from receiving mode. 3 months into my daily practice, something happened that tested everything I'd learned. I got an email from a potential client, a dream collaboration. The kind of opportunity I'd been manifesting for years. Big visibility. Good money. Perfect alignment with my work. Old me would have said yes immediately. Would have been terrified of losing it. Would have done anything to make it work. But when I read the email, my body said something different. It said, "This isn't the right timing." And for the first time in my life, I trusted that signal more than I trusted my fear of missing out. I replied with kindness, explaining I wasn't available right now, and offered to revisit in a few months. I hit send and immediately panicked. What did I just do? I just turned down everything I've been asking for. But I stayed with the discomfort. I trusted my body. I trusted my practice. And you know what happened? 2 weeks later, an even better opportunity appeared. One I hadn't even known was possible. One that was more aligned, better paid, and more exciting than the first. That's when I knew I'd fully shifted into receiving mode. Because receiving mode isn't just about attracting things. It's about trusting yourself enough to know what's actually meant for you. What changes? Let me tell you what shifts when you've been living from receiving mode for a while. Opportunities start feeling natural, not lucky. You stop being shocked when good things happen. You stop saying, "I can't believe this is happening to me." Instead, you think, "Of course. This makes sense. I'm aligned with this." It's not arrogance. It's alignment. It's your nervous system finally believing you're worthy. The softness that comes. Your body relaxes. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw unclenches. You stop bracing for the other shoe to drop. You stop scanning for threats. You stop needing to control every outcome. You soften into trust, into ease, into the knowing that you're held. The way you show up changes. You stop performing. Stop trying to be impressive. Stop molding yourself to fit what you think others want. You just show up as yourself, fully, unapologetically. And people respond to that authenticity in ways they never responded to your performance. Manifesting feels easy, not because you're not taking action, but because the action feels light, natural, inspired. You're not forcing. You're flowing. You're not chasing. You're allowing. Things unfold. Doors open. The right people appear. And it feels like magic, but it's just your frequency finally matching what you've been calling in. Common challenges, and how to navigate them. But let's be real. This isn't always smooth. Even after you've shifted into receiving mode, old patterns will resurface. That's normal. That's human. Here's how to navigate the challenges. Challenge number 1. But I feel guilty resting. This one comes up constantly. You'll be in the middle of your morning practice or taking a rest day, and the voice will come. You're being lazy. You should be doing something productive. Everyone else is hustling. Why aren't you? What to do? First, recognize this is the old program running. The old belief that your worth is tied to your productivity. Don't fight it. Don't shame yourself for feeling it. Just notice. Oh, there's the guilt. There's the old pattern. Then gently remind yourself, rest isn't laziness. Rest is how I recharge my frequency. I'm not falling behind. I'm tuning in. And stay in the rest anyway. Let the guilt be there. It doesn't have to go away for the rest to be valuable. Over time, as your nervous system learns that nothing bad happens when you rest, the guilt will soften. Challenge number 2. I'm doing less but nothing's happening yet. This is the hardest one. You've shifted your frequency. You're doing the practice. You're trusting. But externally, nothing seems to be changing yet. What to do? Remember, the internal shift always happens before the external shift. You can't see a seed growing underground. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Your frequency is shifting. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your subconscious is rewiring. The manifestations are in gestation. Trust the process. Keep practicing. Don't abandon the work just because you can't see immediate results. And pay attention to the small things. Are you feeling different inside? Are you more at peace? Are tiny synchronicities appearing? Are old patterns loosening their grip? Those are the signs that it's working. The big shifts follow. Challenge number 3. This feels too simple. Your mind will try to convince you that transformation has to be hard, that you need to do more, that 10 minutes a day can't possibly be enough. What to do? Remember, complexity isn't more powerful. Consistency is. The most powerful practices are often the simplest, because simple means you'll actually do them. Your mind wants to complicate this because complexity feels productive. It feels like you're doing enough to deserve results. But that's the old paradigm, the one where you have to earn everything. In receiving mode, simple is enough. You are enough. Trust the practice. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Challenge number 4. Old patterns are coming back. You'll have days where you fall back into hustling, into proving, into performing. You'll catch yourself people-pleasing, or overworking, or feeling unworthy again. What to do? Celebrate that you noticed. Seriously. The fact that you can see the old pattern means you're no longer unconsciously running it. Awareness is the first step of transformation. Don't shame yourself. Don't think you've failed. Just notice, oh, I'm in the old pattern again. That makes sense. It's been running for years. Then gently redirect. I'm choosing differently now. I'm coming back to receiving mode. And return to your practice. Body check-in. Rest. Gratitude. Future self-embodiment. Permission. The path isn't linear. It's spiral. You'll revisit old places, but from a new level. Stories of transformation. Let me share a few more examples of what happens when people commit to this practice long-term. The burned out executive. David came to me completely depleted. C-suite executive, 6-figure salary, impressive title, and utterly miserable. He'd been hustling his entire career, proving himself, climbing the ladder, and his body was shutting down. I taught him the 10-minute practice. He was skeptical but desperate. 6 months later, he'd left his corporate job and started his own consulting business. Not because he forced it. Because the path revealed itself naturally once he stopped running. His income. Higher than it had ever been. His stress. Almost non-existent. I'm working less and making more, he told me. But more importantly, I like myself again. I'm not performing anymore. I'm just being me. And that's enough. The chronic people pleaser. Jessica was the person everyone called when they needed something. She couldn't say no. She gave and gave until she was empty. When I asked her why, she said, because if I don't help them, they won't love me. She believed she had to earn love through service. I taught her the 3 keys. Return to your body. Give yourself permission to rest. Celebrate showing up, not just achieving. It took 6 months. 6 months of daily practice. 6 months of learning to say no without guilt. And then she started noticing. People still loved her. Even when she wasn't doing anything for them. Her friendships deepened. Her relationships became more authentic. And she attracted a romantic partner who loved her for who she was, not for what she could do for him. I spent 30 years trying to earn love, she said. And I finally realized I already had it. I just couldn't receive it. The pattern I see over and over. Here's what I've witnessed in hundreds of students over the years. When people commit to living from receiving mode, one thing always happens. The right things start falling away. and the right things start appearing. Jobs that weren't aligned end, sometimes painfully, but always purposefully. Relationships that were based on performance shift or dissolve. Opportunities that were driven by fear lose their appeal. And in that space, that sometimes uncomfortable, sometimes scary space, the actual aligned things appear. The job that lets you be yourself. The relationship that doesn't require performance. The opportunities that feel like flow, not force. Receiving mode doesn't give you everything you think you want. It gives you everything that's actually meant for you. And that's so much better. Staying in receiving mode long term. So how do you make this a way of life, not just a 30-day practice? Here's what I've learned. Build a life that supports this frequency. Your environment matters. Your relationships matter. Your daily rhythms matter. If you're surrounded by people who celebrate hustle and shame rest, it's going to be harder to stay in receiving mode. If your schedule is packed with obligations that drain you, your frequency will drop. Start making choices that honor your worthiness. Say no to things that feel like performance. Spend time with people who love you for being, not doing. Create space in your calendar for nothing. Design your days around your energy, not just your tasks. You're not being selfish. You're being sovereign. Return to the 3 keys whenever you drift. You will drift. You'll get pulled back into old patterns. That's human. But now you have tools. When you feel disconnected, return to your body, key number 1. When you feel frantic, give yourself permission to rest, key number 2. When you feel unworthy, celebrate the cause, not the effect, key number 3. These aren't one-time fixes. They're lifelong practices. Stay connected to the feeling, not just the practice. The 10-minute morning ritual is beautiful, but it's not about the ritual itself. It's about the frequency the ritual helps you access. As you get more practiced, you'll be able to drop into receiving mode throughout your day. In a moment of stress, you'll place your hand on your heart and breathe. When you notice yourself hustling, you'll pause and soften. When you receive a compliment, you'll let it land instead of deflecting. Receiving mode becomes who you are, not just what you do for 10 minutes. Trust the unfolding. The biggest challenge long-term is staying in trust when things don't look the way you expected. Maybe your manifestations arrive differently than you pictured. Maybe they take longer than you wanted. Maybe the path unfolds in ways you couldn't have planned. Trust it anyway. Because receiving mode isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about trusting that you're held. That you're guided. That what's meant for you will find you. And the more you trust, the more evidence you'll receive that you're right. Journal prompt. What would my life look like if I never had to prove myself again? What would I do? How would I spend my time? Who would I be? Write freely. Let yourself dream. This isn't fantasy. This is the life that's waiting for you on the other side of receiving mode. We're almost at the end. One more section, the closing, where I'll leave you with the truth you need to carry forward. You're so close. Let's finish this together. Closing. You were always worthy. My love. We're at the end of this book, but really, we're at the beginning of something else. The beginning of you remembering what you forgot. I want to tell you something I wish someone had told me 20 years ago, when I was running myself into the ground trying to earn my place in the world. You don't have to become worthy. You already are. You were born worthy. You were worthy before you achieved a single thing. Before you earned a single dollar. Before you made a single person proud. Your worthiness isn't something you achieve. It's something you are. And every moment of your life where you tried to prove yourself, where you hustled for love, where you performed for belonging, those moments weren't wrong. They were you doing the best you could with what you knew. But now you know something different. Now you know that receiving isn't about what you do. It's about who you are. And who you are is enough. The letter I wish I'd received. If I could go back to my younger self, the one standing in that New York office, successful and empty, here's what I'd say. Lila, I know you're tired. I know you've been running for so long you don't remember what it feels like to stop. I know you think if you just achieve one more thing, you'll finally feel safe. Finally feel worthy. Finally feel enough. But baby, you're chasing something you already have. You are loved. Not for what you do, but for who you are. And all this running? It's not bringing you closer to worthiness. It's taking you further away from yourself. So I'm giving you permission, right now, to stop. To rest. To come home to your body. To let yourself be held. To receive without earning it first. I promise you. Nothing bad will happen when you stop proving yourself. Instead, everything you've been chasing will finally catch up to you. Because receiving happens in stillness, not in struggle. So breathe, my love. Soften. Trust. You were always worthy. You were always enough. You were always loved. Come home. Now I'm saying those words to you. Come home. What happens next? Here's what I want you to know about the days and weeks ahead. This isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning. You've learned the 3 keys. 1. Return to your body. 2. Give yourself permission to rest. 3. Celebrate the cause, not the effect. You've been given the 10-minute daily practice. But information doesn't create transformation. Practice does. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Commit to the next 10 days. Not 30. Not forever. Just 10 days. For 10 days, do the morning practice. Even when it feels awkward. Even when your mind says it's not working. Even when you want to skip it. Show up for yourself for 10 days. And then on day 11 check in. Ask yourself, do I feel different? Is something shifting, even subtly? Am I noticing small changes in how I relate to myself? If yes, and I believe it will be yes, keep going. If not, reach out. Email me. DM me. Tell me what's happening. Let me support you. Because I believe in this. And I believe in you. Trust the process, even when it feels like nothing's happening. There will be days when you do the practice and feel nothing. Days when you're resting and the guilt is overwhelming. Days when you're celebrating your efforts and your mind says, this is stupid. You're not actually changing. Those days are part of the process too. Transformation isn't always loud and obvious. Sometimes it's quiet, underground, cellular. You can't see a caterpillar dissolving in the cocoon. But that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Trust that the practice is working on you, even when you can't see it yet. The internal shift always precedes the external shift. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your subconscious is rewiring. Your frequency is adjusting. The manifestations are coming. They're just gestating. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust yourself. Your new relationship with receiving. Here's what I want you to understand as you move forward. Receiving is not something you do once and master. It's a practice you return to, again and again. You'll drift back into proving mode, into hustling, into performance. That's human. But now you have the tools to come back. Now you know. When you feel disconnected, return to your body. When you feel frantic, give yourself permission to rest. When you feel unworthy, celebrate your courage for showing up. These aren't temporary fixes. They're lifelong practices. And the more you practice, the more natural receiving becomes. Until one day, you'll realize, you're not trying to receive anymore. You're just receiving. Compliments land. Opportunities feel natural. Good things don't trigger suspicion. You trust that you're worthy. You know you belong here. You feel it in your bones. That's when everything changes. The permission you've been waiting for. I'm going to say this one more time, in case you need to hear it. You have permission to receive without earning it first. You have permission to rest without guilt. You have permission to take up space just for being, not for doing. You have permission to be loved exactly as you are, right now, with all your imperfections and uncertainties and unfinishedness. You have permission to stop running and start being. Nobody can give you this permission but you. Not me. Not your parents. Not your partner. Not your achievements. Only you can give yourself permission to receive. So I'm asking you right now, before you close this book, place your hand on your heart. Feel yourself here. Take a deep breath. And say out loud or silently, I give myself permission to receive. I am worthy of having my desires. I am enough exactly as I am. Say it again. I give myself permission to receive. I am worthy. I am enough. One more time. Let it land. I give myself permission to receive. There. You've said it. You've claimed it. Now all that's left is to live it. Final words. You are the home you've been searching for. All the external things you've been chasing, the success, the validation, the love, they were just attempts to feel what you already are. Whole. Worthy. Enough. And now that you know this, everything changes. Not because you'll suddenly have everything you want, though you might. But because you'll realize you've always had the thing you wanted most. Yourself. And from that place of inner abundance, everything else follows. Rest is revolutionary. Receiving is your birthright. You are worthy, just for being here. Thank you for reading this. Thank you for trusting me with your heart. Thank you for showing up for yourself. I'm so proud of you. Not for finishing this book. Just for being here. For trying. For opening your heart to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, you're already enough. You are. You always were. Now go live like you know it. With all my love. Lila Hart. Bonus section. Resources. Printable 10-minute morning ritual guide. The receiving mode practice. Total time. 10 minutes. Minutes 1 to 3. Body check-in. Take 3 deep breaths. A scan from head to feet, noticing sensations. Place hand on heart, ask, what do you need today? or acknowledge the answer, I hear you. Minutes 4 to 6. Gratitude as frequency. Choose one thing you genuinely feel grateful for. Feel it in your body, not just think it. Let the feeling expand. Say, this is abundance. This is my frequency. Minutes 7 to 9. Future self-embodiment. Choose one desire. Feel what it would feel like if you already had it. Embody that feeling now in your body. Breathe as if it's already real. Minute 10. Permission statement. Place hands on heart. Say out loud, I give myself permission to receive. I am worthy. I am enough. Take one deep breath. Say, thank you. Do this every morning for 30 days. Watch everything change. Journal prompts, all in one place. From Chapter 1. When did I first learn I had to earn love? What moment taught me I wasn't enough as I was? From Chapter 2. What am I afraid will happen if I stop proving myself? From Chapter 3. When do I feel worthy without doing anything? Is there a person, place, or moment where I just belong? From Chapter 4. What has my body been trying to tell me that I've been ignoring? From Chapter 5. What would I do if I had 10 minutes just for me? What would feel restful, not productive? From Chapter 6. What would I say to someone I deeply love who just tried something and failed? Can I say those same words to myself? From Chapter 8. What would my life look like if I never had to prove myself again? What would I do? How would I spend my time? Who would I be? One last thing. If this book helped you, please consider leaving a review. It helps others find this message. Sharing it with someone who needs to hear this. Practicing the principles and watching your life transform. You are worthy. You are enough. You are so deeply loved. Now go receive everything that's been waiting for you. The end.